Let me ask you something blunt, and I want you to answer honestly in your heart. When's the last time you lost sleep over something that you had no control over? Maybe it was the economy, maybe it was an election, maybe it was the choices of your teenager, maybe it was a delayed flight or someone's opinion of you or the state of the world, but you lay there in bed, mind spinning, chest tight, thinking somehow that if you worried harder, things might magically fix themselves. I get it. I've done it too. But here's what I want to tell you, and it's going to sound almost too simple to be profound. You have to stop trying to control what you can't. And you have to start controlling what you've probably been ignoring. If you're like me, most of us spend so much of our energy in the wrong places. We argue online about things will never change, while our kids just want 5 minutes of eye contact at dinner. We rant about Washington, D.C., but we won't manage our own household budget. We complain about the school system, but we won't read a bedtime story to our kids at night. We're furious about things way out there, and yet often we neglect the very things right within arm's reach, and the result is that we live exhausted, anxious, and ineffective lives trying to do God's job for Him while ignoring the work that God's actually given us to do. You know, each of us have a circle of control, right? There's a powerful concept. You know, it probably came first in a sense from the Stoics, but the Bible had it long before they did, right? The Stoics called it the circle of control. In life, there are 3 zones. There are things you can control. Secondly, there are things you can influence. And thirdly, there are things you can only observe. God calls you to focus your faithfulness on the first, the things you can control, and to release the rest. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. The King James says He will direct your paths. That's another way of saying control what you can and surrender what you can't. But the problem is we get those reversed. We try to control the weather, politics, outcomes, people, but we often don't control our own time, our schedule, our words, our reactions. Do we respond in a godly way to friends and family members? Let's start with something super practical, your schedule. If you don't control your schedule, it will control you. You'll live in a reactive mode, always responding, never directing. Think about Jesus' life. He didn't heal everyone. He didn't attend every event. He didn't please every person, but He did live on mission. He woke up early to pray. He withdrew from the crowds to rest. He said no to good things in order to say yes to the best things. Even the Son of God had boundaries. So let me ask you, do you? When was the last time you said, I can't do that right now, I need rest, and actually meant it? When was the last time you looked at your phone and said, that call can wait till tomorrow? Busyness is often the camouflage of chaos. The more out of control we feel internally, the more we try to fill our calendars externally. But if you want peace, you must master your own time and your own calendar, not with guilt, not with hustle, but with wisdom. Is your schedule under control? If not, that's a starting point, right? Let's talk about the power of saying no. You know, one of the most spiritual words you'll ever learn is the word no. Jesus used it. Paul used it. You need to use it too. Because yes can be holy, but so can no. Every yes you give to something outside of your calling is a no to something inside of your calling. Saying yes to one more committee, but that means no to a date night with your spouse. You said yes to one more client, but that means no to your Sabbath rest. You say yes to another hour scrolling the news, but that means no to time spent in quiet prayer. The Bible never commands you to do everything. It commands you to do what God has given you and to do it faithfully. 1 Corinthians 4:2 says, now it is required that those who have been given a trust or stewards must be found faithful. It doesn't say we have to be famous, not frantic. Faithful. You can't be faithful to everything, but you can be faithful to your assignment. So say no. Say it graciously, say it kindly, but say it firmly to all the noise that's outside of the lane that God has called you to drive in. Now let's talk about the other side, the stuff you need to let go of. We love control. We love to think we're running things, but that illusion can be exhausting. Let me give you a few examples. You can't control the government. You can vote, and you should. You can pray, but you can't control it. You can't control delayed flights. Getting all angry about it helps nobody. You can pack snacks, you can bring a book, but you can't change the weather. You can't really control what other people think of you. You can be kind, you can be honest, but you can't rewrite someone else's opinion. You can't control global events or the price of gas or the stock market or social media algorithms. Ultimately, I can't control how many people watch my YouTube channel, right? And yet, how much of your time and emotion gets spent there? Be honest. How many times have you gotten angry at something you read that didn't even really affect your day? We get emotionally hijacked by things that were never ours to manage. That's just unwise. It's unbiblical. Jesus says in Matthew 6:27, "Can any of you by worrying add a single hour to your life?" Worry is worship turned in the wrong direction. It's focusing your faith on the wrong throne. Let's flip the script. Instead of obsessing over what you can't control, let's get really practical over the things that you can control. You can control your attitude, your response to negative things. You can control your effort. You can control your integrity. You can control your habits. You can control your gratitude. You can control how much you choose to eat. You can control how much you choose to sleep. You can control how much water you drink in a day. You can control how you treat your spouse. You can control how you raise your kids. You can control how you choose to handle stress. You can control whether or not you pray before reacting. Those things, those are your domain. That's your assignment. I've met people who know every detail about world politics, but can't manage their own finances. They can debate climate policy, but they can't get to church on time. They're experts in everything they can't fix and novices at everything that they really can fix. Let that sink in, because Satan loves to keep you busy doing nothing that matters. He loves to distract us with what ifs so that we miss the what now. And God's asking you right now, what will you do with what's actually in your hands? Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Nathan, aren't we supposed to care about the world? Aren't we supposed to care about justice, about leadership, about all the big issues? Absolutely. But there's a big difference between concern and control. Concern moves you to pray. Control moves you to panic. Concern stirs compassion. Control breeds anxiety inside of you. Faith says, I'll do what I can and I'll trust God with what I can't. Control says, if I don't fix it, it's going to fall apart. The heart of faith is surrender, not indifference. And some of you have been trying to run the universe on behalf of God. That's not your job. Your job is obedience. God's job is the outcome. 1 Corinthians 3:6 reminds us, I planted the seed, Paul's writing this. Apollos watered it, but God gave the growth. You plant, maybe somebody else waters it, but ultimately God grows it. That applies to your family, your business, your ministry, all of it. You can shape something, you can nurture something, you can influence something, but ultimately you and I can't control the results. The sooner you embrace that truth, the sooner your soul can rest. So how do you actually let go? Because let's be honest, it's easier said than done. We'll start here. Every morning, pray a simple prayer like this. God, help me to control what I can and surrender what I can't. Then you could write down two lists. On one side, things I can control. On the other side, things I can't control. You'll be amazed how short the second list really is. Then release it. Literally say out loud, Lord, that's yours. When you find yourself spiraling out about the news, say, hey, that's not in my circle. When you start obsessing over someone else's opinion of you, hey, that's not in my circle. When you feel anxious about the future, that's not in my circle. There's no need to worry about it. And then redirect your focus. What can I do right now to honor God in my circle? Maybe it's loving your spouse better. Maybe it's praying instead of scrolling. Maybe it's doing that hard task that you've been putting off. Peace doesn't come from knowing everything will be okay. It comes from knowing that God is still in control, even when you're not. And a lot of times we're not. And that could be hard for us if you're kind of like a control freak, right? So let me talk straight to you, leader to leader. You're carrying burdens you were never meant to carry. You're stressed about things you can't change, and you're probably neglecting things you can change. You're probably up at night replaying conversations, rechecking the news, refreshing social media, worrying about tomorrow, and the dishes still aren't done. Your Bible's still closed. Your child still wants to talk. And I say this in love, but it's time to stop trying to be God. You and I are not in control, and that's the best news in the world, because God is. So focus your energy where it counts. There are so many things that need your energy. Focus on your faith. Focus on your family. Focus on your time, your integrity, your gratitude, your health, your sleep. Do what you can and trust God to do what only He can. And when you do, I think you'll finally be able to breathe again. You'll stop being driven by anxiety and you'll start being led by peace. Because you can't control the storm, but you can control your sail. And the one who commands the winds and the waves, the one who controls every storm that's ever come and ever will come in the future, the God of the universe, if you're a Christian, He's still in your boat. I hope this video was helpful to you. If so, consider giving it a like or subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Consider sharing it with someone else. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day rejoicing in Jesus.